Hello. Welcome to another Stitch with me with me, Jade. I'm the 310 Stitcher. I don't know if this is going to work. The setup is a little awkward here, but we're going to give it a go and we'll see what happens. So how are you all doing today? Yeah, I'm not sure that this is going to work, but let me see here. I need to move something. Okay. Let's see how this will work. Okay, so where am I, first of all? I'm over here somewhere. Yep, okay. Alright, so hopefully this turns out okay and my hand is not in the way all the time. Guess we'll find out. So how are you guys? How are you all doing? I hope everyone is well. Today is Sunday, May 25th. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all of the those of you who are in the US. Here in Canada, we had our long weekend last weekend. It's not exactly the same holiday. I know in the US, I believe it's to honor the fallen soldiers. For us, that would be November 11th, Remembrance Day. Here in Canada, we still call it May 2-4 weekend, even though it rarely happens on the weekend of the 24th. Our long weekend is always the third Monday of May, and it is Victoria Day to honor the Queen's birthday, or what was Queen Victoria's birthday. Anyway, so I haven't done a Stitch with me for quite some time, and just sitting here by myself today. I have the house to myself, except for my son and his girlfriend, who are downstairs anyway, so they keep pretty much to themselves. And I was going to be stitching anyway, so I thought that I would chat to you guys while I am stitching. So what am I stitching on? I'm stitching on Jelly World, which is the 2025 Heaven and Earth Design Cell. This is, I'm just going to mark off my stitches here. Like I said, it's a 2025 stitch along. The pattern is no longer available, or it's not available to purchase on Heaven and Earth Design site. This was one that was just created for the stitch along by L&L Designs, and I believe L&L are the initials of the two ladies who run the stitch along in the Heaven and Earth Designs group, or HADE group. Anyway, so I participated last year. Last year I got the entire thing complete. And in 2024, if you got the entire pattern complete, so it was about 50 something thousand stitches last year's. If you got the entire thing complete before the end of the year, you were awarded not just the bonus charts and the other 9 or 10 charts that had been available. Oops. There goes my pencil. So you were awarded not just the bonus charts and the 9 or 10 other charts that had been available to choose for the stitch along, but you were also awarded 2 additional patterns. So any patterns you wanted off of the HAID website. This year it's a little bit different. First of all, the patterns are about twice as big, or almost twice as big. They're about 90. I think this one is about just over 90,000 stitches. I was going to say 90,000 square feet. No, it's about 90,000 stitches. And it is, so similarly to 2024, there were some bonus charts. We received 2 of them. So that the bonus charts were based on how many people actually signed up for the stitch along. So we received 2 of them, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do at least one of them. I don't know when, but I do want to do it. It's the one I want to do is by Donna Gelsinger, I believe. It's 2 small birds. I can't remember if they are. I don't think they were hummingbirds, but they were small birds. I can't remember. Anyways, very, very pretty on a pink background. So we had 2 of those, and then it is similar to 2024 in that if you complete 50% of it, you get the other 12 charts. And all of these charts, like I said, are about twice as big as last year's. And I had a really hard time choosing this year. They were all really great charts to work on. They're great charts to choose from. And if you complete the whole thing, then you get not just those other 12 charts, but you get to pick a sorry, okay, I got a little confused there for a sec. You also get to pick 1 free chart from the Heaven Earth Designs website. So this year I'm not aiming to get 100% complete. It's just too big. It's 90,000 stitches, and yes, I like the pattern, but I have so many charts that I really want to be working on. So my goal is to complete 50% so that I get the other 10 or 12 charts that are available. There, like I said, there were so many that were really, really pretty, and I would really like to do. I don't even remember what they all are, but the one that sticks out in my mind, 2 stick out in my mind. One is Drinks on the Beach, which is just a fun theme. And one, the one I like better than that actually is I think it's called Descants. It's by Stephanie Poimin-Law. And I really enjoy her artwork a lot. So that's my goal. So I believe there are 12 pages. Let me just see what I'm doing here. Right. There are 12 pages to this chart. So my goal is to get about 6 of them done. What I'm working on here, so this whole section, this is the first 3 pages. Actually, what I've got here is about 2.5 pages, and right, it's about 2. Yeah, it's about 2 pages. Let me see. I don't know what's going on here. One sec. It's just, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is about 2.5 pages. But actually the first installment was just over 4 pages. So I'm working on, like I said, the first 2.5 pages. So I'm going to complete these. So that's where they go to. I want to complete these before I move on to the second installment. So I'm still working on the first quarter. We get an installment per quarter. I just have to keep looking to make sure that I'm not messing up here. I'm just gonna mark off what I've done. Yes, we get 1 installment per quarter. We have two installments so far. The third one will come out on July 1st or thereabouts. But like I said, I'm not putting pressure on myself to get more than 50% done. I just don't need that kind of pressure. So in order to get 50% done, I believe I have to do, what is it? I have it written down here. I have to do 970 stitches a week. And don't forget, these are half stitches, so I'm doing this 2/1 half stitch. Or 10 stitch, whatever you want to call it. So it's not too bad. I can usually get this done in 1 sitting, unless it's after work during the week. Then it might take me a couple of sittings. But I really like this so far. It's really interesting because, let me just move this out of the way here. When we started over here, it was really weird. So this is, obviously it's jellyfish, so it's an underwater scene. And when I first started it, you know, I'm over here up in the left-hand corner, and there's oranges and blues and browns and reds. And it was kind of counterintuitive. In the sense that, you know, those colors, it seems weird to have those colors. Sorry, I'm just, I'm a little bit confused here. Oh, it's because I missed a couple of stitches here. Okay. It's kind of, yeah, it's just kind of counterintuitive. Like, those colors don't seem like they really should go with an underwater scene, but they do, of course. And it's looking really good. There's so many blues. I think we're using pretty much every blue in the DMC collection here. So I am not using DMC. I'm using CXC thread, which is a little bit plumper than DMC. I quite like it. And I also really like the price point. It's a lot less expensive than DMC. Okay, now I think I did these ones, so bear with me for a sec while I mark these off again. This project here, I'm just working off a master set. I don't have a dedicated set of threads for this project. Okay, so from here I need to go down here. It's about 1.5 inches. I'm just going to travel. Yeah, not even, barely 1.5 inches, so I'll just travel there. generally don't travel more than 1.5 or 2 inches. The odd time I do, oh, here comes smoke. The odd time I do when, especially if I'm working with a single thread, and I have, like just, I'm over here, but then there's only one stitch up over here. Sometimes I can't be bothered to snip it just for one stitch. So I'll just go ahead and do that. It anchors it in a little bit more, in my opinion. So that's what I do. I'm surprised that Kitty didn't announce his entry into the room. He normally does. So what are you all working on? Let me know in the comment section below. I love hearing what you guys are all working on while you're watching this, whether it's stitching or something else. I will often work on either stitching, or sometimes I do stitching related things like, organize flosses, or stitchy related things, not necessarily stitching, while I'm watching Stitch With Me videos. I spend a lot of time in meetings and whatnot for work, and sometimes I like to have Stitch With Me's on in the background. So sometimes when I don't want to hear people talking, I like the videos where they're just kind of ASMR and I can hear the thread going in and out of the fabric. And sometimes I like to listen to Stitch With Me's that just have music. Sometimes I just feel like, especially when I'm sitting and stitching, or doing something boring, I do like to listen to people chat to me while I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing. So I use Stitch With Me's for all kinds of different purposes, but I like listening to, or I like reading your comments and knowing what you guys are working on, and what I like to look up the patterns that you guys tell me you're working on. I like being enabled. Okay, let me just mark off. Okay, where am I here? Okay, this one here. My brain sometimes does not want to compute what's happening. With the pattern. Okay. Alright, so there's that one, this one, and then there should be skip 2 and okay. Pardon me for a minute while I try to figure this out. Nope. Okay, so I've done those two. Okay, that's why I had marked some stitches off that I didn't actually do. That's why I was confused. Okay. All right, that's what happened. I had marked off some stitches that I didn't actually do, so what I was seeing on the fabric didn't match up with what I was seeing on my screen in Markup RXP. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Unfortunately, it's not a long weekend for me. The past couple of weeks have been insanely busy. So I apologize to all those who have been sending me messages and I haven't replied yet. Actually, I went through this morning and did a whole slew of replies to comments. I haven't fully caught up yet though, so I apologize. I will. Just sometimes it takes me a little while. I always read all the comments because they come in through my email, but I can't reply to them right away. I have to, for some reason, it's not, you used to be able to, but now it actually, when you click on reply in the email, it just brings me back to the video. And I'm not always in a position to be able to do that. But I do promise that I will reply to everyone. So work has been really busy past few weeks. I had 2 weeks where it was almost 100% training, which was, I'm not gonna lie, was while the training was very interesting, it was also you know, annoying from the perspective of, you know, I still have my regular job to do on top of it. So when you're in full day training and then you have to go home and do your regular job or try to fit in you know, at least some of the major major things during your breaks and lunch and whatnot, it doesn't make for a very calming day, let's say that. So stitching has not been very prolific the past couple of weeks. I did pretty much sat on my butt not my back, my butt yesterday and just kind of vegged out and stitched. So at least I did catch up a little bit on my stitching. Not everything, but that is okay. The other thing that was very busy was for the past couple of weeks was just working on the retreat. So in case this is the first time you're visiting with me, first of all, welcome and welcome back. I appreciate you. But I have organized a retreat here in Ottawa, Ontario for this coming August from the 22nd to the 24th. You can check it out. I will leave the website where you can check out, what is happening at the retreat and when it is and all the details, and sign up as well in the comments, in the section, in the description box below, so you can check that out. But yeah, so I've been quite busy doing that. Normally a retreat does take, or something like this does take, I don't know, I guess about many months anyways. Maybe a year is probably a good amount of time to allow you to do things in a sort of calm, steady fashion, because I only started organizing it in April. For this coming August, I only had, what's that, 4 months? So everything has been, kind of, things have been rushed. It's not too bad. I have organized things like this before. Never a crafty retreat. It's always been something for work. The biggest challenge, it's also not unlike trying to organize something like a wedding, as well, where the biggest, if you've organized a wedding or something like that, really the biggest thing is finding the venue. Finding an appropriate venue, and then a venue that has availability for whatever your timing, whatever your dates are. So that was definitely the biggest challenge. After that, my biggest challenge here, I'm just going to end this thread. My biggest challenge for this, other than the venue, so that's all been set. This is at the, this retreat's being held at the Hilton Garden Inn, Airport here in Ottawa. Okay. Sorry, I bumped you guys. I had to plug my phone in. I didn't realize it was almost dead. Okay, so I need to just grab another thread off of my floss drop bobbin. I'm using 3808 at the moment. So on this project, as you can tell, I'm I'm stitching cross country, and what I've been doing lately is just sort of working with one color rather than changing colors all the time. So we're just going to continue with this color until, as far as I can go. I forgot what I was saying. I think I was talking about the retreat. So anyway, so the venue was the biggest hurdle. So once I did that, the next challenge was all the website and the marketing and just getting the word out. So I would really appreciate, whether you have a floss tube or don't have a floss tube, if you have social media or you belong to a guild, a stitching guild, I would really appreciate if you would, sorry, I've got a little knot in here that I'm trying to unknot here. One sec. I would really appreciate if you would help me get the word out. I we have capacity for 150 people. Oops, there are still spaces available. And we have vendors. We've got 5 vendors so far. I think I'm going to cap it at 6 vendors. I don't know, 6, maybe 8. I am still waiting to hear for a couple of people to actually just confirm. So we'll see. We'll see. It'll be either 6 or 8 vendors, and one of the potential vendors can only vend on one day. So, all right. What I wanted to show you here, first of all, so I interrupt. We'll take a tangent for a second, but what I have been doing, so I used to just knot the ends, and I've not done that here. What I've started doing lately is just doing a loop start. So you can do that with double. So if I had just taken one thread and then folded it in half, I could have done a loop start with that. But you can also do a loop start with just one thread, and that's what I'm going to show you here, actually, even though I've got 2, but I'm going to do it the same way as I would for one thread. And so let me just figure out where I have to go. Over here somewhere. Yeah, I'm in here. Okay, so I have to go right there. So I'm going to start a little bit farther away, okay, from where I need to be, and I'm going to pull it till there's just a little tail. All right, I'm going to come up where I need to come up, and just, oops. Just going to hold on to that tail so I didn't pull it out. And then essentially what you want to do is go down in the same hole that you just came up out of, okay? And what you see is you've just done a loop. Now you can come up in the opposite corner and go through the loop. Okay, you can see that that's basically the same thing that you've done, and then come down in one of the corners just to get there we go. There. Once you've done that, you can take the little tail that you had and just snip it off. Okay. My org jar disappeared. Okay, you can snip it off. Now, you do have, because I came out about an inch away, or I went in through the fabric about an inch away from where I wanted to come up. So there is a little bit of thread in the back. That's just going to get stitched over while you're working. So it's an extra. Really, this loop is only for. It's kind of a temporary measure, right? Until the rest of your thread gets pulled up. But even if you cut it short, it's not going to come undone. Or at least I haven't found that to be the case. And I actually want to thank Andy, the Crow Stitcher, for that, because I've been trying to figure this out. You know, I was trying to figure that out for a while, because I sort of had figured it out, but for some reason it just wasn't sticking in my head until watching Andy's Stitch With Me where they do it. And you know, even without they were doing the their Stitch With Me was, words are hard today, was a wordless one. It was an ASMR Stitch With Me. Very clearly, not super fast, and I was able to copy them. And so that's what I'm doing now instead of doing the knots. Not that I had any issues with the knots. The knots were fine. I know a lot of people don't like them. The knots that I do tend to be very small, so they don't really cause any warping or anything like that. So, but if I can eliminate them all together, all the better. Okay, so back to the retreat really quick. So the next hurdle after the venue was getting the website and everything up and going. Okay, that square is done. Nope. Okay, 1, 2, diagonally, yes. Okay. So I did all that in a relatively quick time frame. I don't really recommend that, only because I was making changes periodically. As I found, as things got updated and I found better ways of doing things, I was making changes. That's not, it's fine, but it's not ideal from the perspective of, when people go to look at it, look at the website, and then it may be different from one day to the next in terms of the look and feel of it. The reason that I did do that was to give people, again, because there was only 4 months, I wanted to give people enough time to sort out their schedules and kind of figure all that stuff out. So that's all done and dusted now, thankfully. Now when I'm going up and making edits, which I still do once in a while, it tends to be to add things like, who the vendors are. Once we have, any additional vendors that we've gotten, or if there's anything that needs to be cleared up. If I'm getting multiple questions, then I'll throw it in the frequently asked questions section. I'm really hoping that this is a successful event. So if you haven't signed up yet, I really hope that you do. I am really excited about it. I've wanted to have an event like this in Ottawa for quite some time, and I'm excited about it. Let's see here, 4. Speaking of Andy the Crow Stitcher, they are coming to the retreat, which is amazing. I can't wait to meet them. And there's a couple of other floss tubers who are trying to figure out their schedules to see if they can make it work as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about meeting all of you. Many of you have already told me that you're coming, which is fantastic. I am nervous from the perspective of, like, I really am an introvert, so setting up something like this is is new. Setting up something like this where I'm kind of going to be the MC as well. That's kind of new. Not that I do presentations and stuff all the time for work, but this is different, right? Where am I here? And I also realized that because I am the organizer, I probably won't get very much stitching done that weekend, but that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I'm sure I will get the odd opportunity to sit and stitch or knit or whatever. But I really look forward to meeting all of you. So if you've not heard of the retreat before, we have several great vendors. I'm really excited about Tiny Modernist. So she is not only vending at the retreat, but she's also the featured designer, and she's going to be giving us a talk on Saturday, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Hearing a bit about, her stitching journey and about how she goes about designing and whatnot. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that. And there are several other great vendors, including Stitch Toolbox, the Canadian Stitchery. I'm just waiting for the final sign up from a yarn vendor. Because if you've not heard, this is really a retreat. It's not just a cross stitch retreat. Really, all crafts are welcome. So, because really a lot of us do many things, right? Multiple things, not just cross stitching, but also knitting, crocheting, quilting, sewing, whatever. So I wanted to make it more inclusive. The majority of people who have signed up are cross stitchers, but they also dabble in many of those other crafts. So that's exciting. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, so let me just mark these off. Did I get to the end there? No, I just got to do. Oh, I did do that one. Okay. Let me just mark these off. So let me know in the comments if you're coming. Are you thinking about coming? Like I said, there is still space available for more attendees. So check it out. The website is The Gathering Thread Retreat. Well, www.thegatheringthreadretreat.ca. All right, so where am I? It's funny, I just realized I have a needle minder from a Stitch North, which was another retreat that I attended last year or a couple of years ago. Can't remember now. It is on the other side of Toronto. I know they say Toronto, but it's actually Brampton, which is about almost an hour away from Toronto. But people don't know when you say Toronto, they don't really know Brampton, right? So it makes sense. Oh, I didn't mark these off. Okay. So for me, that's a 6-hour drive, which is not horrible. but I just wasn't able to attend. I wasn't able to attend this year, unfortunately, so. Talking and stitching at the same time is hard, yo. So, if you watched my video, my last video, first of all, thank you. Secondly, I do apologize. It kind of messed up in, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on with iMovie, but it took me like 3 days to edit and upload the video. And then when I finally did, something was going on with iMovie, and it dropped the audio in a couple of different parts. For no obvious reason. I could not figure it out. And then when finally I got it working, it was working in iMovie. Then when I uploaded it to YouTube, the audio disappeared again from certain sections. And I just couldn't. I don't know. I've had a migraine, and I just couldn't, including today, which is part of the reason my words aren't completely working. But I just couldn't bear the thought of having to go through everything all over, like redo the entire video again, because I'd put everything away and I didn't really feel like pulling everything out again. So I almost just got rid of, just didn't upload a video. But then I finally did it. I got it done. And I had to take out the Monopoly video because that was, again, another piece of the video that the audio disappeared from. And then when I did it again, I uploaded the wrong one. I uploaded Monopoly rule number 9 instead of rule number 10. So you got a bit of a repeat. And rather than taking the video off of YouTube again and re-editing one more time, I just decided to leave it, and I uploaded Monopoly rule number 10 as a separate video. Oops, nope. So you would have gotten 2 videos from me this week. For that reason. Not ideal, but, I am far from an expert. If anybody knows what video editing software I can use instead of iMovie, it has to be for Apple products. Something that's quicker and easier and more user-friendly than iMovie. I would really appreciate it if you would let me know. Either send me a message or put it down below. I know I spoke with Alara once, and I forget what system it was that she was using. She showed me it was like super easy and quick, but it doesn't work. It's only for Android. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to use that system. But if you guys know of any system that does work well with Apple products, please let me know. Nope, I just did that wrong. Do you guys ever do that? Just back out of the same hole you came through, but somehow a thread got caught. There we go. Should have been this one over here. I got a question about my nails. How my my last Stitch With Me, I had very long nails, which I was trying out for the first time. They were much longer than I normally have them. As you can see, I don't have them anymore, but you can see a little bit of, see the little sections of red. That is from the acrylic nails that I had. I ended up ripping them off. Well, first cutting them down and then ripping them off, which I know you're not supposed to do. But you can see they've kind of damaged, your nails. Having said that, sorry, I was just looking at where I need to be. That's it for this. For this color in this Q-snap area. Having said that, I will probably try them again. I will not have them as long though this time. I could not get used to them. I got used to them for stitching, but I could not get used to them for typing. And yeah, I couldn't get used to them typing and, you know, trying to, so that's all I do for my leftovers, by the way. I couldn't get used to them for typing and for even texting or emailing on my phone. It was very difficult. Having said that, I have trouble even with short nails. So anyway, I'm gonna try them again at some point. Okay, let me see. What do I want to do next? I think I want to do this symbol. Okay. So 995 I need. Okay, my fingers don't want to work. There we go. There we go. Okay. I am using my master set. So what is it? 995. Okay. Got one. We've got two. Okay. All right. So, am I still in frame over here? Yep. Okay. There's a cat hair here. There we go. Okay, so I have to go over here. So I'm just gonna come up. What am I doing? So I'm just going to do the loop start again. So go through the same hole again, up through the opposite hole, pull the loop, go through the loop, and then back through one of the holes. It's a little bump. There we go. Okay, and then I just have to cut this little tail. Okay. What I should have come up here and start working. I normally do that. I normally start from the topmost stitch that's needed, and then work my way down that way. But I decided that I just want to get in a lot of stitches, or as many stitches as I can. So I'm choosing. Hi, Smokey. So I chose colors that I have to do a lot of stitching with. Hi, Monkey. Hello. Smoke came to visit. I still have to do my Monopoly stitching. Haven't done any of that yet. So the two projects, oops, I'm sorry, I bumped you. The two projects that I have to do are Roy Kent and Sun, Moon, and Stars. So what I will probably do is work on Sun, Moon, and Stars tonight while I'm watching TV. Hello, monkey. Hi. Okay, don't bump the camera. Don't bump the people. Hi. Hi. Hello. Smoke has come for some attention. Hey, buddy. You're a good boy. You're such a sweet boy. You're a troublemaker, but you're a sweet boy. Don't bump the yes, you're a good boy. Don't bump the stand, please. Oops. What was I saying? Sun, Moon, and Stars. Yes. I think I have to do about 400 stitches. Oops. I'm sorry. I keep bumping you guys. Let me see. Where am I? Here we go. Okay, Spooky, stop bumping, buddy. Yes, you just lie down. Good boy. There you go. You can lie down on my lap and take a nap. Okay. You also have to cut your nails. Sun, Moon, and Stars, I think I have to do about 400 stitches. So I will do that after this one. After I've gotten my stitches on this one, I had to do about 900 and... What did I say? 970 or so? Yeah, 970. I still have 524 to get there, so that probably won't be till later. I also have to go get some laundry done and stuff. This week is also, well, it's not a short week, but it's going to be a crazy busy week, being as how I have to catch up on the past 2 weeks for work. And I also have to drive to Toronto for an appointment on Thursday, so there definitely won't be any stitching on that day. Okay, now I really love how this project is coming out. Okay, just one right here. And one more. I'm really loving how this is turning out so far. So I was saying that I was by myself. I've been by myself this weekend. My husband has gone to Toronto for to spend the weekend with friends and his brother, and also to watch the Post Malone concert. That's happening there on Monday night, I think. So he's not back till Tuesday. So when he's not here, I try to catch up on things that I want to do, or movies that I want to watch in the evenings that I know he wouldn't necessarily want to watch. So the past couple of days, well, I did do yesterday, but I missed Saturday night, but or Friday night. I have been watching Harry Potter. So I have so far rewatched the first and second movies, and I started the third movie last night, and then I was too tired, so I went to bed. So tonight I'll probably watch the rest of Prisoner of Azkaban and either work on Roy Kent or work on my sweater. I'll probably work on Roy Kent just because when I was working on my sweater yesterday, which has cables and double moss stitch, and I actually ended up having to frog everything that I had done and then some. So I guess that's one movie series that I cannot stitch. I cannot knit with when I'm doing something that I don't, I could knit a pair of socks because I don't have to look at the pattern. I don't have to watch my fingers or anything like that. I can knit without looking. I can keep my hands busy while I'm watching, but something like my sweater sleeves that have cables all over them, it's just too much. Okay, let me just mark off here. So I have to find time to work on my sweater because I really would like to get it done. I have finished, if you've seen my video, my second last video, you might have seen this already, but I finished sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I am here again on the screen. Okay, 1, 2, that's why I didn't mark these off. I finished the front, I finished the back, and yeah, both sides of the front, because they're knit, the front left and right are knit separately. And I am now working on the sleeves. So speaking of the training that I had this past week, so pretty funny story actually. So this week I had 3 days of yellow belt lean training. So, oops, sorry. Okay, there we go. So Lean Six Sigma training. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially an approach to work that focuses on eliminating waste, doing things more efficiently, more effectively. Yeah, anyway, primarily. And it's really fun. The funny thing about it is that, so they use the acronym WIPS for Works in Progress, really for anything that you're doing. It can be applied to anything. And the primary focus of that system is minimizing WIPs, which I had to laugh at because for me in cross stitching, I am not minimizing WIPs. My WIP count is actually going up, which if you apply the lean methodology to, it's kind of why I'm not getting, things are slower to get done, to get finished. But the thing is that I am getting more enjoyment out of it, because for me it's not about the end product and getting, so lean is about satisfying the end customer, the end user. So minimizing waste and maximizing value for the end user of whatever it is that you're doing. Well, I am the end user of my cross stitch, and the bulk of my satisfaction does not come from finishing things. It comes from just working on them, and starting things, as some of you have pointed out to me, rightly so. So minimizing WIPs for me in my crafty world is not what I want to do. Having said that, at least that is the case in my cross stitch. And at least for my full coverage. But for my knitting and stuff, actually I would really like to get things finished. Which is a major reason why I haven't started any, well, I shouldn't say that. I started my sweater. Well, I used to be, though. To be fair, I used to be just as much into starting things for knitting as I am for cross stitch. And since I discovered cross stitch, that slowed down. So I start socks because you can never have enough socks. And I started the sweater because I was passionate about it. I really liked it. 1, 2, okay. I really loved it and wanted to start it right away. And that will get done fairly soon. I only started it a few weeks ago when my mom was here, so. But I do have some longer standing whips, which I would like to work on. So what I'm gonna do is, once I finish my sweater, I'm going to pick the next whip that I've actually got going in my knitting or my crochet, and start working on those. Okay, I'm just gonna mark off here for a sec and start working on those and try to reduce the knitting and cross stitch whip number, because those things I do want to get finished. I mean, I only started them because I wanted them, so I'm gonna do that. Which actually, so in order to do that, I need to, sorry, let me just see where I have to go. Okay, I have to go up here. In order to do that, I have to have some more time available, right, to knit. And I have been spending all my time, let's say 90% of my time, cross stitching. I don't count the socks because the socks I do whenever, right? I do when I'm in the truck, when I'm in the car, what I do when I'm just sitting around, chatting to my husband or whatever. So I don't count socks. But the majority of my crafting time has been cross stitch. So if I want to actually reduce the whip number for knitting and crochet, then I actually have to have some time to do it, right? So something has to give. So what I've decided is that I'm going to reduce the number of stitches that I feel I have to do every week for my focus projects. So if you've watched my videos before, or if you haven't watched my videos before, then just to let you know what I'm doing, what I've been doing. So I use Notion to keep track of all my cross stitch whips, and Notion will tell me. So I put in a proposed finish date for when I would like to finish a project, and it will tell me based on how many stitches are left at any given time and how many weeks are left at any given time, how many stitches I have to do per week going forward in order to meet that deadline. And so because in the past, so they started off as reasonable numbers at the beginning of the year, which was by no way all of my crafting time. But what's happened in the past, I mean, life happens, right? So, I went on vacation, my mom arrived, I've had, all kinds of training, and just life has been busy. So I haven't been able to do necessarily all of those stitches for those whips. I think there's about 6 of them. And then, I want to do Monopoly stitching and then other stitching as well, right? So sometimes those take the place of the projects that I've put deadlines to. So now what happened was, with the exception of this one, and this is still like, it's almost 1,000 stitches, 970 stitches that I have to get done in order to get my 50% deadline by the end of the year. All of the stitches were like creeping upward of 11, 12, 13, 1,400 stitches per week in order for me to meet the deadlines that I had set. And you know what? The deadlines that I set are just, they're soft goals. They're not hard deadlines. Nobody's going to die if I don't get Pompeian Lady done by the end of next year, right? Like, they're just my own goals, things to strive for, but you know, it doesn't really matter. They're just goals for me to work towards. I need something to work towards. That's how I operate. So, okay, sorry about that. I had an interruption. Okay. I don't know what I was talking about. I think I was just saying that, yeah, it was the number of stitches for my focus pieces is getting a little out of hand. So I have just, what I did, with the exception of this one, because this one, my goal is still to get 50% done. So that 970 stitches won't change. Well, it'll change, you know, depending on how many I do each week, right? Whether I do more or less. If I do more, then that number comes down. If I do less, then the number goes up. So that's fine. But for all the other ones, I have reduced the number of weekly stitches by adding 6 months to the completion date of each project. And for a couple of them, I may even increase it a little bit more. We'll see. But for now, what that means is that it won't take me as long to get all those stitches done every week, which means I will have more time available to work on my knitting and crocheting projects. So for crochet, I would really like to work on my son's blanket. I really want to get that thing done. There's still so much to do. There's maybe about 25% of the blanket, which is quite a bit, because it is a full-size blanket. So I want to work on that for crochet. Actually, after I finish my daughter's top, which I'm not quite done. I'm almost done. I'm about 2/3 done for that. So that'll be done soon. So that's for crochet. And for knitting, like I said, I'm not going to count the socks. They get done as they get done, regardless of anything else. But for knitting, I would like to finish my sweater. So that will be the first, or the cardigan is what it is. I keep calling it a sweater, but it's a cardigan. So that will be my goal for June. And I say June because it's already May 25th. So there's only 6 days left in May. I'm not going to get the sweater done in 6 days. Once I finish that sweater, then I will move on to one of my other whips. I have another summer top that I had started. I actually showed it on my floss tube a few months ago. I had started and put away because I had to undo it. I had to pretty much frog the whole thing. The pattern is written poorly. It's very, anyway, the pattern isn't written great, and so I made a big mistake that I couldn't recover from, so I had to undo it and start over. I now have it going properly again, but I just haven't picked it up. So I do want to pick it up, and I will do that after I finish my cardigan. And then after that, we'll see. I still have several whips on the go. I still have a shawl on the go, which is the half and half wrap by not Turtle Pearl, by Pearl Soho. And that again is something, that's actually one I'm not in a huge rush for. That is just, it's kind of like socks where I can work on that whenever. It's kind of mindless. So it's nice for those times when you want to keep your hands busy, but not have to refer to a pattern or think too much. And then I do have several other tops that are in various stages of completion, including a crochet one that's for summer. So that'll probably be after my daughter's top and the blanket. Anyway, what else are you guys working on? Do you do any other crafts? Do you just cross stitch? I'm just curious. I know a lot of people paint. A lot of people do diamond, what's it called? Diamond painting. I've not tried that. And hold on, let me see where I am here. I've not tried diamond painting yet. I may try it at some point, but right now I do have a lot of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now I have a lot of stuff to be getting on with between the cross stitch and the knitting and the crochet and the reading. Okay. All right, where am I? One more second here, so I have actually finished these ones as well. Okay. I don't know if you guys do this, but sometimes when I'm working, especially in this, like a lot of, confetti may be the wrong word, but there's a lot of stitching, and it's not block stitching. It's just kind of everywhere. And especially if there's a lot of it in each 10 by 10 square. Sometimes what I do in order to keep things straight and organized so I don't miss stitches, I try not to just go here, there, and everywhere. I'll just pick a square, just like this little one square, and just do all of the stitches in that square first and then move on to the next square. That's how I've been keeping myself organized with the Colosseum especially. And what happens when I don't is what was happening earlier in this video where I was getting confused as to where I was. Makes it a lot easier because I'm just looking at the one square. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. One of the threads remained at the back. Okay. This also irritates me. And I know that's my tension. It's just not even. But it's irritating nonetheless. When the threads are different, end up different lengths. Okay, I'm just going to end this thread. There we go. Okay, just snip the extra. Okay. Let's grab more thread here. How do you guys keep organized when there's a lot of stitches everywhere? I guess it would be very easy to keep organized. I guess that's why a lot of people will do row by row. I guess that's one way of keeping things straight. Okay, I want to go in here. Back through the same hole, so we have a little loop up to the next one, through the loop, and then down. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry I keep bumping you guys. Okay, so it's funny, we all develop different ways of keeping yourself organized and keeping things straight in our heads. The electronic pattern keepers definitely also help. One of the patterns that I'm dying to work on this week, and I am going to pull it out this week, is Fortune Teller by Pain Free Crafts. The artwork is by Lou LaBelle, or Luciana LaBelle, and that one was a project that I was working on on paper, because it was part of my vision therapy. And not gonna lie, that's a little frustrating at times, because no matter how much I would try to make sure it captured, because I would highlight all the symbols that I needed to do, and then when I did them, I would highlight them a different color. And no matter how much I would work to make sure that I had captured all of the symbols, I'd always miss one or two. Always. And that's really frustrating because usually you wouldn't find it until after you'd put the thread away. And then you had to pull it back out for just one stitch, 1 or 2 stitches. So I think that is the best thing about these apps like Pattern Keeper, Markup RXP, Saga, and whatnot, is just the fact that they highlight all of the symbols and you don't have to worry about it. Now, sometimes, I don't know about Pattern Keeper because I don't have Pattern Keeper, but I use Markup RXP. Sometimes, depending on the pattern, especially if it's not fully compatible, what happens is the sensitivity will be set too high or too low, and it won't actually capture all of those symbols. So sometimes you have to adjust the sensitivity on it, which on Markup RXP is very easy to do, and then it will capture more, or it'll better capture the symbols. Sometimes it doesn't do that. So for my Home Sweet Home, I don't know what is going on with it, but for the first half of the chart, like from the left hand side to the middle, everything is perfect. But once you pass the middle, something happens and it doesn't capture a lot of the symbols. So I'm having to, because right now I'm working on the right hand side of the chart, I'm having to manually select a lot of the symbols in advance. And so that again leads to that frustration of, you know, when you miss 1 or 2 and then have to go back to it. I don't like when that happens. But c'est la vie. It's not like it takes a crap ton of time to select the symbols, but it's just annoying having to do that when, like, that's the whole purpose behind the software, right? Okay, let me mark these off. Hi, monkey. Hi. Okay. Missed one right here. All right, and then we move down to this square, and I have to finish all of them. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting this stitch done for today. Now this stitch is, so today's Sunday, and I do my weeks from Sunday to Saturday. And Jelly World is actually, so this stitch actually should have been done yesterday, or by yesterday. So technically, if I wanted to stay on top of things, I would have to do another 970 stitches this week after I finish these ones. Don't know if I will or not. Again, that's going to depend on the time I have available. Smokey, stop it. No, you don't need to knock everything off my desk. It's going to depend on how much time I have available this week, which I don't think is going to be much. No, I know. Crazy monkey, where's your toy? All right, that one's done. And then this square is also to be fully filled in. I love these colors. What I would like to know from you guys, leave me a comment down below, is what is your preference for Stitch With Me's? Do you prefer when people talk, like I've just been chattering away? When people just chat about nothing in particular? Do you prefer if I choose a specific topic and only talk about that topic during the whole Stitch With Me? And do you like the Stitch With Me's that are more the ASMR, so no actual talking, just the sounds that happen to occur while I'm stitching? So that might be, you know, the sound of the thread going through the fabric. It might be the cat meowing. It might be the occasional sneeze. Or do you prefer music? Let me know. I know for me, it really depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm all talked out, or in terms of, I don't want to listen to anybody talk, like I don't want to have to pay attention. Maybe I have a headache, so when I have a headache, I don't want to hear people talking. I just want to maybe have some soft music playing in the background, or sometimes just the ASMR, because it's even just the ASMR sounds are, it's kind of like, you know, just sitting in silence with a friend stitching, right? So I like that. I like that sometimes too. Let me know what your preference is. I don't mind putting more of these out if you guys like them, and as time allows, obviously. Okay, I'm going to mark off that square. Oops, I'm so sorry. That's actually 2 squares. Okay. The top of this jelly is almost done. I really like how this is turning out. I love all these blues and teals. They are my favorite colors. Okay, so that's another square. Hi, monkey. All right, so over here, I still have about 200 stitches to go, but I think that once this thread is done, I think I'll leave you for the day, because I need to go do some cleaning, figure out what to make for dinner, because my daughter and her boyfriend are coming over for dinner. Make sure my son is okay, because he was not feeling well and had a fever for the past couple of days. I have to make sure he's okay. It's really weird. He's not sick or anything, but he did have some pain in his side. And so now I'm just wondering whether the fever is a sign of infection, in which case I'm going to try to convince him to go to the hospital to get seen. All right, so he doesn't really like going to the doctor. But we'll see how he's doing. On a positive note, my son just got a full-time job. So he actually started his first day. His first official day is tomorrow, Monday. He went on Thursday for orientation. And then he starts full-time tomorrow, which is exciting. Oops. So we're all, I think his dad and I are more excited than he is. But I'm happy that he's finally going to have, a steady income. And start, not that he was working before, I should say that he was working before, but it wasn't in his field that he was working in, that he went to school for. And, it wasn't steady work. So now he's actually got a job in his field, actually full-time. And he is on the company's waiting list to be an apprentice as well, which is fantastic. So things are definitely looking up for him, which I'm very excited about. Okay. Oops. Oh, there's a thread here. Okay, I have to just see where I am here. And I have to do this whole square. Okay. Oh boy, I'm so sorry. I would love to know, those of you who do stitch with me, I would love to see your setups, because this is always such an awkward setup for me. On this one, it's not horrible because I don't have to have my magnifier on in front of me for this one, so that's good. But when I have, I have the camera in front of me, I have my iPad that's partially obstructed by the camera, well, which is my phone. I have, the magnifier, which right now I'm not using, but that would be right in front of me and obstructing everything if I had to use that. Just everything is a bit awkward. And because the camera is right in front of me or beside me, I keep knocking it. Which is annoying. So part of it is my stand setup. So I use a stand that's called what's it called? Needlework System 4, which I love, by the way. Love, love, love it. You can use any Q-snaps in it, up to 17-inch, I think. It also does have you can get an attachment that will let you hold scroll frames as well. I don't have that because I don't use very many scroll frames, and the ones that I do use I can put in my daylight stand. And then I have a tablet holder for my Markup RXP that attaches to the top of the stand, and that is why it gets obstructed by when I do these videos, because the camera or my phone camera will be in front of that. There's no other way for me to do it other than to just take my tablet off of the stand and maybe have it off to the side or something. But then I will be looking. I don't like doing that because then I'd be looking down or to the side all the time and maybe get a crick neck. I like to do things as ergonomically as possible. Which is why I got the tablet holder in the first place, so I can just look. I don't have to bend my neck. I can just glance up at the pattern and glance back down at the fabric. Okay, let me just see. I am right here. Oops. Okay. Okay, I'll come back to that one. Gotta do this square over here. Yeah, so if I could figure out a way to attach my camera directly to the stand in such a way that everything is visible, and by everything I mean the whip, the fabric. Hi, monkey. And still have the tablet there. That would be ideal. But I haven't figured that out yet. Okay. these off. Okay. Gonna have to do this. Stitch that parked thread in. Okay, so we're coming to the end of this thread. And I think the end of this stitchy session, or at least I need to take a break from it and go take care of some stuff. And then I may come back and finish. I still have 150 stitches or so to get to the end of this to get to the end, to get to the goal for this one, the 970 stitches. So I am going to leave it here. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It all helps to support my channel, and it helps me with motivation to come back and do more videos. I really enjoy chatting to you guys and having you guys chatter back. I really appreciate it. I don't really have anybody that is cross stitchy in my world, in my real life, I should say. So I really enjoy all of these interactions. And yeah, let me know what you've been working on. Let me know how many stitches you ended up putting in. And whether you're coming to the retreat or not. I really appreciate all of you. And I think that is my last stitch there. So I'm going to just end this thread. Oops. Okay. So how many stitches have I done? Let me see. Just going to mark these off. Okay. So I have done 800 stitches. I've got 170 left, and these are, don't forget, these are half stitches. So that's it for now. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you can hit the like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.